This is Becky Lajuro with Jerry Chan. We are here at CoinGeek Toronto 2019. Some exciting content's been covered here today. You have delivered a presentation. Jerry, when you look back on the day, tell me some of the most interesting information that really stands out, some of the presentations, some of the conversations that you've had.
I guess one of the most interesting ones for me was what Craig spoke about in the morning, a business of attestation, which is when somebody signs something and then there's a witness that signs. The order of signatures kind of matter. And as he said it, I kind of thought to myself, how would I do that on BTC or multi-sig? And I realized you can't. You can't actually prove the order. And so when he mentioned that, how you would do it in BSV, that really clicked. I was like, wow, okay, that's really important, because if I really ever at some point in the future want to take a Bitcoin transaction and basically say, like, Your Honor, this is the proof that this will and last testament was signed, and here was a witness. If we ever move to an age where these things are all digital and it's going to be Bitcoin transactions, then you really do need to prove that these signatures happen in that order. So that actually made a lot of sense to me, and I still have to think a little bit more on how to do that, but I'm sure there's a business model somewhere in there.
Very, very cool. And there's so many things that are quite unique to the BSV chain. It's the all-in-one coin, really. One of the big focuses here is on scaling, massive scaling right now today. Yeah. Tell me why this is such an important piece of the puzzle here.
Because with scale, and when I mean scale, I mean actual usage. As the more transactions you pump, the more data you store, the more people use the network becomes a utility. And when you have utility, then you have value, right? Because it becomes the whole commodity money thing that Mises always talked about. It has to have intrinsic value. And Bitcoin itself has no intrinsic value. Bitcoin's value is in its usage as a universal source of truth that everybody uses. And if everybody uses this, and we protect privacy and everything's encrypted and such, and we can control access to data, that becomes its intrinsic use. And so we really need to scale that. And it's really cool that seeing projects like Uptime was kind of interesting to me, because they're really incentivizing people to just blast data and then solve a problem that was really not solvable in the normal world, because you can't charge people fractions of a cent or pay them fractions of a cent. And I think that was very interesting.
Yeah, so many interesting projects here. And I go to quite a few blockchain events, but I have to say, a lot of people, these events I come across, not really aware of BSV, what it does, why it's special. What do you think this community needs to do in order to educate the rest of the world about how amazing this is?
Oh, well, what do we have to do? I don't know. Well, like I said in my talk, I think the biggest thing is that there's a lot of misinformation on the internet. Once we start paying for information that's valuable, that becomes a signal that this information is valuable. Look how much people have paid to view it. And the Metanet is really all about this, right? It's basically attaching intrinsically a value to data. And once that happens, then there'll be less misinformation on the internet. I think it's going to get better, but right now, until we get to the Metanet age, until it really grows up in the next year or two, I think people are just going to really just don't believe what you hear, right? Do your own research. Always verify. Don't trust.
Amazing, Jerry. Amazing words of advice. Thank you so much. This is Becky Lajuro. Thank you for watching CoinGeek.com.